What is up, everybody? I am David, one of your two co-hosts with Rocket Sword Radio, a show where a couple of really big nerds talk about nerdy things. And today we are talking about TTRPGs, and specifically what makes great dungeon masters. Great dungeon masters. So, Rue, when I asked you that question, what makes great dungeon masters great dungeon masters?
Mm-hmm.
What immediately comes into your brain?
I think the very first thing was flexibility.
Awesome. Is that just because it's one of our rules on the GM screen?
So yes, but also I think when I'm playing
Playing
when
or
I'm playing
okay.
a DM that I appreciate is one that just rolls with the punches,
Yeah.
and I think building a story off of just pure collaboration. It's not just what was written down, and it's not railroading. Although there is a place for some railroading to get to a story, because that doesn't always happen. But I think it's huge to me.
Yeah.
I'd say probably number one. Obviously, I think fun is fun, but I think what makes fun to me is flexibility.
Yeah. I think railroading too should feel really natural if you do use it. So if you're trying to tell a specific story that we've all agreed to somewhat, like the railroading needs to feel like it's actually within the universe and
Yeah.
it's not just like a god picking up your
Yeah.
hero and moving it over here, like I feel like you even did it last time we were playing, well, a while back, and you introduced like the umbral stocko and the ball, and you still adapted and like moved and everything, but I felt like that was almost your way of complicating things with the king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that is gibberish to you right now, but basically he had a rogue like information broker listen in on our conversation at ball where we didn't say we were speaking quietly or privately
Just
and
just trying to overthrow
talk
the king
and steal the
in the
pretzels.
tablets.
um and so yeah, you like kind of brought it back to us not getting all the things that we were trying to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that conflict is what makes full stories. So yeah, I think flexibility is a really good one. Obviously, that's one of the rules on the GM screen because I think too often, especially new DMs, you'll see it. It's almost like a kid who doesn't get his way. Like they had this specific idea in mind.
Yeah.
And we just had a first time DM this week who actually crushed it.
Yeah.
He did really, really good. Like
He's
one of the best false DM experiences I've had probably. But there was this moment where you could tell he had something in his mind and the players completely subverted his idea. And he had to like come to grips with the reality that like, oh, this isn't like me writing a
a story.
story.
Yeah.
This is me playing like a game with my friends who are gonna do stupid things or crazy things you're not expecting. And
Yeah.
so he was flexible though, which is why it went so great. But I could see the moment where he was like, oh man, like
Yeah.
this is not how this works. So that was cool. The my thing is rule of fun. I've always been a very extravagant player who likes to will describe and do cool things and try to do cool things. And as I've gotten older, it's okay if I beef it and screw up what I was trying to do. That's part of the story.
Yeah.
But I like being able to try creative solutions that aren't necessarily within the scope of the rules,
Yeah.
which probably makes me not a great player. But it does.
You like to bargain a lot.
Yeah, but it does make for a great DM when fun
Yeah.
and like it's kind of a type of flexibility
Yeah.
is like at the forefront of their mind. Like at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do is collaborate, tell a story, and have fun. So sticklers are not necessarily my favorite GMs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rules have their place for writing like a 500-page rule book, but the fun is like it's supposed to amplify the fun, not take away from it. And if something's not explicitly in the rules, like we shouldn't get bogged down and like weighed down by that, and you can't do it because it doesn't say you can do it. Like let's just use our best judgment and what is more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if Becca wanted to cast a summoning spell, my sister, to carry a hoe through the first test of the demo, like that's cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time. But I could be like, well, technically, you have 30 mana and you lose 4 mana per round when you're
taking
summon.
shots, right?
No, you don't do that at all. And so, when you ran the test, you literally said, you were like, yeah, this is supposed to be more cinematic and experiential. This isn't like us in the hard, like initiative override. So I don't know, just letting players do what they want to do as long as it's not absolutely insanity. Yeah.
Like throwing darts every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Show me.
Love my brother. And he didn't even throw any. Well, he threw one, I guess. But
and that is also the false rule I wrote on the GM screen. So there was one more rule. So this is basically us just talking about the GM screen and all the rules on it.
I gotta be honest, I forgot the third rule.
The rule of preparation.
Oh. Well, to be honest, that's what I was about to say. So
yeah, you want to have enough to where you're comfortable, but not so much that you're suffocating.
Yeah.
So if you're over prepared, then you tend to railroad and try to make things go a certain way.
I will say for me, the most scripted items I've ever had, usually I feel like the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that didn't go how I wanted, and not due to players, but even just me, like trying to read it like a script instead of just trying to play a character, or voice a character. And I think some of the best have been literally just like, even Malachi will just be like, no, don't say that. That's ammunition. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of is. Maybe I will go that route.
Yeah. Yeah, I like you should have monsters in mind.
Yeah.
You should have encounter design in mind, and like a general overarching framework for the story, or really, when we started, all I knew was an ending, and everything else in between of all like massive campaign we've been doing with my sister and you and Daniel now, her husband, is literally just you guys moving places and me responding. Yeah. Not that I'm a great DM, but that is what I feel has been one of the best campaigns I've gotten run. And I feel like a big part of that is we've all just told stories together, and I base the stories that I told on the characters that were created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that would probably be my next thing, is pay attention to your players' characters' backstories, opportunities to shine in their roles. Like I feel like you do this, you did that in the pyramid. You kind of had created a puzzle. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but a puzzle for each prospective role that they can potentially shine. I think good DMs allow each person to shine if they can. But yeah. What about you for preparation? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, even the way I go about it, but even as a player, I think definitely like bare bones, more like a basic storyboard almost, and little plot points, and then you just let the session kind of take you to each one, or miss some of them, and kind of find a way to wrap back around, or maybe you have a whole other little adventure you got to go on.
Yeah, it's been interesting in writing the demo and the like actual future potential campaigns and adventures and one-off sessions for people, one shots. Like you need to have a little more meat in there,
Yeah.
you know? It can't just be bones. So it's hard though because so much of me is that like flexible, you know,
Yeah.
GM. So you need to provide them enough structural to where somebody can pick it up and play it and tell a story, but you also need to have enough leeway where it becomes their own story and it's not just like a version of a choose your own adventure with dice or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think you need, especially in that, you need enough structure that the the DM can make a decision.
Yeah.
To be flexible.
Yeah.
Whereas you have it set out.
And our demo, the last test, I feel like shows that those like a lot of branching paths. So for a GM who is truly brand new, it could get a little heady and like complicated.
Yeah.
But I wanted to lend it to like, hey, wherever your players go, you got to go there with them. Here's what those places look like. Here's what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Here's the end goal, what we're trying to accomplish potentially, but really, where will they go is where they go. And as a GM, you can again guide your players to um, a certain result, but you don't want to like pigeonhole them into it, you know. So if I guide you to the deep, let's say in Shield Rock, like I shouldn't walk you all the way up to where you're trying to get there, you know. But I can at least, a party runs by in front of you towards the deep, and there was a cryo talking about someone who's just killed down there, and you know you just try to point them in that direction if that's really the only place you feel comfortable going. But over time, you dodge, duck, and dive. Yeah, this was cool too. I was talking to a brand new GM who was like, "Man, I feel like AQ, which is all game Ascension Quest, is really hard to build encounters for. Like everybody's so powerful and like they can deal out so much damage, and yeah, I just don't know how to handle all of it." And I told him, I was like, well, it is true. There's a lot of tools at their disposal. You got to kind of like solve, but really encounter design, because one of the issues he was having was like it should never be a guy versus four dudes in an open like white space. You know what I mean? Like what is the terrain bringing to the equation? What is the minions or henchmen or the other complication, like a lady dangling over the cliff, or you know somebody about to get sacrificed, depending on the session, right? There's a timer, like you know the world could end in 6 rounds if you don't solve this problem. So creating those other complications is what makes it an interesting and like fun encounter for your players to solve. You can just like, here's big strong guy, good luck fighting him, but I feel like it's just a losing battle. It's not gonna be as interesting, you know what I mean? And the players, great players, will make it interesting, but you can really give them more by designing like a good encounter. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so that was fun talking to him about that and getting him to think about it a little more. And even so, a decent example of like a one guy versus a ton of dudes is like the Kithraxis fight.
Oh yeah.
I just did with you. I think you have this theme and like signatures and ways out and ways to drag it on and like isolating people, and so you have to design the boss with that in mind. Like, okay, how are we going to deal with all these really powerful people? And again, what is the story we're trying to tell? You know what I mean? So
the scary one.
Yeah. Yep, that was. I was trying to like tap into my roots of the old school Alien game with like the beeping monitor. Beep, beep,
Never played it.
beep.
Too
I just
freaky.
remember being really freaked out when I was a kid. But yeah, I really enjoyed that session. That was fun. I'm trying to think of my dad. My dad, I feel like, is a great DM, and he's old school. He's different, but he is really flexible. He punishes players for being dumb. But he also rewards creativity.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a good one. What other things about encounter design? Like what do you gravitate towards or think about?
You know, lately in like my own world, I guess, I feel like a lot haven't even been a ton of combat. I feel like we did like some heist, kind of espionage esque, and even the session kind of where I was kind of like, oh, maybe we are gonna fight. You guys just jumped into the shadow realm, and there was a little bit of like
Yeah.
tension that I had to add in and whatnot. But I'm trying to think some of the latest ones. Um, really going for
We had the stingray fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, that was our monster generator. That was just hey, they're flying over the ocean,
Yeah.
and it made a really cool monster.
Yeah.
But I guess the firstborn on the island, I went into that like that was my vibe was almost like cannibalistic tribe,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried to set that tone, and then really just put you guys on edge and cautious the whole rest of the session.
Yeah. Except me, I was just like,
Yeah,
let me go before them.
I was not gonna let you do it, and then you rolled like friggin' amazing, and I was like, you know what, this works. This works.
I see 3PO'd the cannibals
Yep.
by pretending to be their god. Simple minded creatures. To be fair, I use a good combination of spells, I feel like. And then, like you said, I rolled
Yeah.
incredibly well. But
That I don't know. I mean, they were like I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, I guess, but they had unraveled, right? Unraveled.
yeah.
And so they kind of lost their humanity or soul, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
them.
Unraveling is elves as well, Falspawn. Cut that out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. They all elves. I mean, in the traditional sense, we've done things to dignify them, but if you want to play an elf, you're going to play Falspawn. You know what I mean? They'll point to you, thin-legged, tall, immortal. Not truly immortal, but you know,
Basically.
yeah, they'll inspired by the elves from Lord of the Rings and stuff. So, but they when they live for a really really long time, one of the ways the gods punish them for being kind of ignorant and frustrating and rude to the other lineages was they created this disease called the unraveling, which basically eliminates their earliest memories and continues to eliminate memories as they age, so that eventually they're an empty shell and they like start anew basically. So they can still live forever, but they um,
Kind of lose their past self.
lose their past self. And it's created interesting storytelling opportunities. Like I thought that was really cool. These guys got stranded on an island and unraveled, and so they just like basically had to start a new civilization from scratch. So they were cannibalistic, crazy, tribal elves for all intents and purposes. But yeah, that was cool. And there's been some other stuff with like Mad Kings and what was the other one we did that I liked? Oh, the Moken. They do like purposefully those two options. One is they embrace unraveling and they do a ritual to just completely wipe the slate clean and start anew and have like teachers and people there to kind of like get them back up on their feet. So that's a part of their culture now. But the other one is like the sanctuary of second breath. Some elves, Falspawn, will go there to basically eliminate themselves on purpose so that a Moken can take over so that they retain a portion of their memory. And a Moken's like a symbiotic mushroom
Fungi
fungi that also carries with it memories of the dead and deceased and everything. So you get a little personality disorder, but it's a super fun lineage to play and tell stories with, and yeah, it's been fun. But that was a tangent.
A little bit.
Anything else on the DMs?
Good
DM.
I think you touched on it, but I think using the like your player's backstory and just engaging them. For a little while there, you were almost doing it back to back of like me and then Becca and then both of us, and kind of bringing that and wrapping that up. And I really thought, I think Fell is probably the first character in a long time that I really love and just get into.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of that is just how much you did work with me, and then also just within the session, continuing that story, his story.
Yeah. Yeah, because really, even Becca's an amazing storyteller. She's a published author. She was an actor, in high school and college, right? So she brings a lot of talent and creativity to it and everything. But she had a really simple idea. It wasn't. She's like, yeah, the Scarlet Whisper sounds sick, and yeah, I like the sorcerer who has the entity in their mind, because we started playing this campaign in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And she let me run with the entity who was in her head. And yeah, the rest is a blast. It was a ton of fun. Some really great moments that I really enjoyed with those characters, and I'm grateful for amazing players. Even Daniel coming to the fray, he's brought some cool stuff, and I'm excited to see where he goes. And you have someone else joining you potentially this week, so we shall see. On that note, I think a good DM is when your wife hits you up in DMs. Anyways, I think one joke enough. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you guys found that conversation to be titillating and engaging. And if you didn't, then I'm sorry. That's on you.
But they made it this
Because
far.
I was awesome. Just kidding. No, seriously, thank you for listening. You can engage with our game and everything we're doing more at rocketswordgames.com. Like the video, subscribe, and comment below the things that make DMs great to you guys.
Who's your favorite DM?
And also your craziest obscene conspiracies. Just kidding. He's all over the news right now. This is February 12th, so sorry. It's on the brain. Peace. Love you guys. Bye. On recording.